first coming up, actually, this question might stump me based on the notes, but I am excited to be challenged. So first up is Scott in Texas. Scott, you are live on Transatlantic. What is your question?
Hey, ladies, thanks so much for taking my call. This is related to the news that you just had. I just have a general question, or actually it's a hypothetical. If you had a direct line of communication to a senator or a congressman or a member of parliament, what rights would you advocate for and why?
Oh, okay. This is a different question. That from the call notes, I was under the impression you were about to like quiz us on like who are the best LGBT politicians, but I like this question better. Well, I think first and foremost, I think talking about like the efficacy of transition care and why those things are like medically necessary and should be covered under insurance is the biggest thing, I think, because that impacts like literally almost all trans people. Whatever kind of care you're trying to access across the board, it can be such a barrier when you already are dealing with a population that is like facing like homelessness and discrimination and disproportional rates of like struggling financially. Having access to healthcare coverage for transition care is huge and something we don't have. And like the one thing you could almost guarantee is that genital surgery will be covered, but like most trans people are not like, that's not the first thing on their bucket list of like transition care. They're like, well, let me do that first. No, that's usually like one of the like later down the road things if you want to do it at all. So yeah, I think seeing more comprehensive trans healthcare coverage, which is backed by, I in my opinion, by the evidence that I've seen, I think that's the first thing I think of. I don't know, Katy, do you have a different take on that?
No, I think obviously, a more UK-centered thing, I would actually say the same thing. Like, healthcare in the UK is a fucking disaster. I mean, for example, trans kids only just are legally back allowed to have healthcare, but that doesn't mean we've won the battle. Like, this is a big step and a good news, but they don't actually still have access to healthcare because there's still ridiculous waiting lists. There's still like a bullshit system designed to slow people down for kids and for adults. And, the waiting lists here can be like up to 7 years. Well, actually, like basically averaging 7 years now, like minimum 6 years. So I think that any politician I talk to, I would be like, why the fuck aren't we changing this? It's not even like I'm asking for a huge sum of money because that isn't the main thing causing the problem here. I mean, money would be good, but the system is just a joke. So I think that's one of the things I'll talk about. I think, so I have talked to my local politician, and it was when our government, our equalities minister, one of our equalities ministers recently had some leak where they were saying a load of homophobic and transphobic stuff, like equality minister, fucking garbage.
Oh my God.
But the women's inequality minister last year floated the idea of introducing a bathroom bill in the UK, which would have been terrifying. So I rang up my local politician and was just like, have you ever talked to a trans person before? I just want to let you know that I'm just like a normal person and I'm terrified of this and like I couldn't live in this country, and he had just never talked to a trans person before. He didn't know what it was, he didn't know what the issue was or anything. So I mean, if I could talk to any MP, my first thing would just be like, I'm normal. Please don't listen to the people who want to ruin my life. But yeah, and then I would go in on healthcare as like a second thing, for sure. How does that, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm absolutely fine with it. Healthcare is a human rights. Trans rights are human rights. I'm just curious on your take of things. Thanks for taking my call.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate the conversation. It was definitely an interesting topic. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Wow. Okay. Let's kick off the show with like a super positive and upbeat call about like goals and directions, which I also feel like is a good way to frame this. I feel like we get a lot of gender critical people and bigots who kind of like straw man like what we do, and like that's why there are bathroom bills, because they think we're like predators who are trying to do something. And like holy shit, dude, I literally just want healthcare. Like, can we start there? Like, Jesus Christ.
I went to the pub last night and I needed a wee. And then I went to the toilet and it was nothing. And it was like, what you do when you go to the pub? And there are people who want to make that something that I can't do, like just fuck off.
Yeah.
I just want to do a wee and drunkenly
Now-
talk to people about their makeup. Anyway,